Today I'm going to share with you how to make more money in real estate with less effort. Hi, my name is Mruwat with eXp Realty, where I've coached and trained thousands of real estate agents all over the world. And today I want to share with you 4 key components in order to increase your revenue with less effort from you personally. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. And number 1, we're going to start with the 3 components of making money. And number 1, it's going to start with your revenue, right? So you might look at increasing your sales price. You might look at doing less transactions. And so more importantly, we're also going to look at the other 2 components of making money, which includes the stress that's involved and then also the time. So a lot of times in real estate, we're taught to look at the return on investment, your ROI. But I would also encourage you as an entrepreneur to look at your ROT, which is your return on time spent. So let's just use an example. Let's say we have 2 real estate agents and both of them sell the same house. They both have a $10,000 commission. So they're both making the same amount of revenue. But the reality is, one of these real estate agents is making more when they start factoring in the other 2 components, which is stress and time. And so this is why a lot of real estate agents, as they start to increase their sales and truly build a business that's no longer just contingent upon their personal efforts, they start to build out a team. And the reason they do that is because they're leveraging other people's efforts. So they've been able to create a business based on referral, repeat business, and then branding and marketing. And so now they're leveraging other people's time in order to get a return. So back to my example where 2 agents make the same commission of $10,000. Well, maybe one of those agents had delegated it out to, let's say, a buyer's agent, a listing specialist, or even a showing agent, and hired it out. And so they also have admin staff, transaction coordinator. And so they're bringing in the same revenue, but it's less time spent, and that's going to be able to enable them to do more transactions and also leave a happier life that's no longer, again, has their business contingent upon just their efforts. So one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins, who we absolutely adore, is, if you stepped away from your business today, would it grow or die? And this is a very honest question that you have to ask yourself as a real estate agent, as the CEO of your own business. And I'll have to say that 99% of the agents that I talk to, including team leaders and even broker owners, is that if they stepped away from their business today, that their business would die. It would just completely stop. And that's why a lot of real estate agents don't even, like to go on vacation, because they know that they're going to pay for the vacation twice. They're physically going to pay for the vacation, but also when they get back with the amount of business that they've lost. And so when you're looking at leveraging and delegating and duplicating yourself, you have to do that through systems and processes. And some of those go back to the foundational skills. And so when you are looking at the 3 components of making money, number 1, look at the revenue, right? Look at the revenue versus the effort that you're putting in. Number 2, look at the amount of stress that transaction has given you, because I'm here to tell you there is no transaction out there that is worth your health, worth your sanity, that cannot be, basically replaced by another transaction. So sometimes you have to even fire your own clients in order to move forward and be a happy business owner. And then number 3 is your return on time. How much time are you spending per transaction? And then what is your hourly rate? So you can kind of divide that out to see what your worth is, what your hourly rate is, and then try to increase that over time. Number 2 is create leverage. Now, this is difficult for a lot of solopreneurs, because we look at leverage and hiring out as an expense instead of as an investment. And the reality is, let's say you've calculated your hourly worth and it's $100 an hour, just as for an easy example. Then you might want to start looking at all the admin tasks like transaction coordinating, things like that are maybe $10 an hour task. And so you start to duplicate yourself by leveraging out those tasks and now focusing on what we call the IPAs, your income producing activities, in order to generate more business. Now, don't get me wrong, as a newer agent, we've got to do a little bit of everything, right? We have to kind of earn the right and earn the ropes, if you will, to be able to delegate and do the things that we enjoy and the things that we like. But IPAs, income producing activities, are not always going to be the things that we enjoy, but they're the things that are going to bring you the highest return. So it's important to really track those, so that way over time you're able to leverage yourself, duplicate, and essentially buy your time back. We all have the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the reality is some agents are just leveraging themselves and building a true business instead of just being a solopreneur. And then, of course, number 3 is leverage your sphere. We're taught in real estate to go after your sphere of influence, your SOI. And which, although that's great, that's of course your family, friends, those closest to you. But the reality is they're not always the people that want to see you succeed. And that's just kind of the hard truth. So what I would encourage you is to make a list maybe of 10 people that what I like to call your SOPs, your sphere of power. These are your personal cheerleaders. These are the people when they're out in the street and they hear real estate, their ears perk up and they think of you and they recommend you right off the bat. And so focus on the sphere of power, leverage your sphere, and be able to really manage your database. It's amazing to me how many real estate agents don't have any kind of database, don't have any CRM. So they're really skipping over some of those fundamental skills that are incredibly important, because not only is it important for you and your business, but as you start to duplicate, have systems and processes and bring on and leverage, employees or staff or other agents, you're gonna have to have systems and processes in place, and you can't do that if you don't have anything yourself. So I would definitely recommend manage your database. And of course, when you're looking at your database, oftentimes we're going after new leads, new business, new leads. Those are the most expensive leads. So sometimes just managing your sphere, like I said, whether it's your sphere of influence or your sphere of power, your past clients, your current clients, referrals, repeat business, those are going to be a lot cheaper than going after brand new business. Of course, cold leads, they're going to take longer and they're more expensive. So sometimes just focusing what you have internally, you can grow your business a lot more, leaving you, a business with more longevity. And of course, it's going to be a lot less expensive and it's going to be easier to convert. And then last but not least is your personal branding and marketing. So it's incredibly important as a real estate agent to, again, remember that you are the CEO of your own business, depending on what your state guidelines are and what your brokerage allows, but you want to promote your own personal branding and not just that of your brokerage. And the reason I'm saying is, I think any brokerage out there, they're all great. We all have great models. But the reality is the general consumer is coming to you because they like, know, and trust you, because they know you. And if you ask the general consumer probably what brokerage you're affiliated with, a lot of times they won't even know. And so the reality is it's very important to focus on your own personal brand, something that can live with you for a long time as you start to build out your real estate career. And then of course, marketing, it's a lot cheaper to focus on your personal brand than it is marketing and advertising. Advertising can get very, very expensive. So as I mentioned before, it's a lot cheaper to focus on, your current database that you already have, repeat referral business, than constantly going after new leads and kind of playing that whole conversion game. So I hope you like what you saw today. Please go ahead and like and subscribe as we're dropping new content every single week. Thanks for joining us.